What is going on, everyone? Chris with Journos, Comics, and Pop Culture, and I got another very, very interesting topic of debate today that it seems just to never end within the comic book community and between us collectors. Doesn't it seem like that happens so much? All right, before I get into it, guys, if you aren't subscribed to the channel, please take some time to do so and check out all the awesome links below. So, I just want to get right into this. I hear all the time, the market dictates, right? So you could be online, I could be doing a video, I can be reading the comics of a video, online social media forums and all this stuff, right? And we're talking about this and we're talking about that. And then here come the comments that say, the market always dictates. Demand dictates. And when you look at this comment without any other context, sometimes it's an accurate statement. But I see this statement way too often when pertaining to comic book labels. Labels such as first appearances, cameo appearance, full appearance, and what defines these controversial topics that we know we debate all the time. And I am here to set the record straight. The market does not dictate labels. The market only dictates value. All right? Let me repeat that. The market only dictates value. The market does not and never will dictate labels. Let me give you guys an example. Here's a Hulk 180. All right? This is a CGC, and it says right here, if you guys can see this, it says first appearance of Wolverine in Cameo on last page, right? All right. So there's been the argument over what is Wolverine's first true appearance, first real appearance, right? Is it Hulk 180 or Hulk 181? And I'm really at a point where I don't understand how people discredit cameos as being a first true appearance. It's like just because we add the word cameo, people forget that it's still their first appearance. It is the first time we see them, but they forget that if you have a cameo first appearance, you could still have a first full appearance, right? But let's not go too much into explaining the labels. That's not what this video is about. This video is about who decides those labels, right? So when you look at a book like Hulk 180 and Hulk 181, which I would show with you guys, but I don't have one. When you look at this issue between these two books in this type of situation, you look at Hulk 181 and it's obviously the most valuable book. The more valuable book, excuse me, next to 180. I mean, 180 obviously is a valuable book, but it is nowhere near the value of Hulk 181. So let's look at what some facts are pertaining to these books. It's a fact that Wolverine shows up for the first time ever in Hulk 180. It's a fact that Wolverine does appear in this book on the last page. We see him. I do believe he says his name right. He's like, you're no match for the Wolverine, or whatever he says in there. I forget word for word. So that's fact. It's also a fact that Hulk 181 is the first time we see Wolverine play out throughout a story, throughout the whole book. It's also a fact that it's the first time we see Wolverine on a cover because, as you can see, Wolverine is nowhere on this cover, right? And we know most of us know what Hulk 181 cover looks like with Wolverine there, claws out, going after Hulk. All right, so those are facts, right? Now, as you can see, I stated these facts without really putting them in labels, right? I didn't label them anything. I just stated the content of the books, all right? Now, where does value come from? All right. Value first must inherently come from what we value within the book. Take this away. Take this label away. All right. And ask yourself, what do we value within the book? If there was no label on a Hulk 180 and a Hulk 181 book, the market would still dictate that the value of Hulk 181 is going to be greater. Why is this? Is it because we labeled it something? No, I just said we're stripping the labels away. It's because we as collectors, more than not, value a first cover appearance more than one little back page appearance. And we value that character showing up for the first time in a story. In a story where when you open up that book, there the character is in the first page of that book, or even early on in the book. But in Wolverine's case, it's the first page. And in playing out, throughout the pages of the entirety of that book. We value those things more. And you want to know why this is true? You want to know why? Because early on, before CGC, before even Overstreet got really, really popular, in the early 70s when these came out, Hulk 180 was more than not categorized as the first appearance of Wolverine. It was categorized as the first appearance of Wolverine up until the early 90s by Marvel. All right? Now, this is without any other context. Cameo, full, none of those were added to the context of the label, at least to Marvel standards. Now, what was present, even going back in the 70s, was the term cameo was present. Cameo, brief, and these terms were present, but were not heavily used to define appearances. But they would come up in terms of collectors discussing appearances in books, but they were not defined and etched in stone. So the point I'm trying to make to you all today is the demand, all right? The demand didn't decide the labels of these books. The demand decided the value because of what's in the book. And the labels follow after, all right? Even if we continue to label Hulk 180 the first appearance, Hulk 181 would still be more valuable, all right? Because like I said, Hulk 181 wasn't labeled the first appearance for a long time, and people still sought it much more than they did this one because they knew they wanted that full-on, boom, here's Wolverine, right? For the real first time throughout a whole story on the cover, bam. All right? The market decides the value, but never the label. Because here's the thing. There are situations where a cameo appearance is valued on the market more than the full appearance. All right? Look at Damian Wayne's first appearance. Batman 655 and 656. 655 is his cameo appearance. It's still valued slightly more than 656, but it's a cameo appearance. And it is labeled as such. It is labeled his cameo appearance, but it's worth more money on the market. So does that mean because 655 is worth more money than 656? That the market is saying, nope, that means we got to switch the labels around. That means 655 is now his first full appearance. Absolutely not. Demand does not change the content and the context of the label of the book. It doesn't. Even if one day people said, you know what? I inherently value Hulk 180 more than Hulk 181 because guess what? It's the first time we see Wolverine. I don't care if it's only on the last page of the book. It's his true first appearance in the sense that it's the first time we ever see him. I don't care if it's called brief or considered a brief appearance or a cameo, whatever. I'm valuing this more than Hulk 181. And say, hypothetically, Hulk 180 starts becoming a higher value. Starts having a higher fair market value than Hulk 181 does. Hypothetically, say that happens. Does that mean we're going to change the label of this book? Absolutely not. It will be it is and will always be the first appearance of Wolverine in Cameo. Always. All right? Another one. Taskmaster. Avengers 195 is his cameo appearance. 196 is his first full appearance. If for some reason 195 starts becoming more valuable, does that mean we change the label and call 195 his first full appearance? No, Because market does not dictate labels. What dictates labels is concrete definition, and definitions that have been around for hundreds of years, and industry precedent. All right? You can't just change these labels around because a book decides to become more valuable than another book. And labels do drive value. Labels do drive value. But that's because it's the reverse effect of how we inherently value the book. Inherent value of a book comes first. And then our demand for that sets the tone. But part of that inherent value is how much we get of this new character, right? So we live in a day and age where we might not have read a book or know much about a book except for what's on the label. And that's why I always talk about labels needing to be accurate. Because it's not that we care about the label in and of itself. We care that the label explains what I value in the book. By essentially breaking apart or differentiating a cameo versus a full, we don't need to open a book to know that, oh, it's the first full appearance, oh, it's the first cameo. Now we can consciously decide what we value more within the book. Are we going to value seeing the character all throughout the book? Or are we going to value a brief little one page or a few panel appearance? And most of us are going to say, most likely, I value seeing that character throughout the book. And then what is that going to do? It's going to drive the monetary value of that book up. All right? But that demand isn't changing the label. Another one is Bishop's first appearance. Bishop's first appearance in 282 of Uncanny X-Men is a cameo, but he's on the cover. So it's his first appearance in Cameo, and it's his first cover appearance. 283 is his second cover appearance, but first full appearance. 282 is still more valuable. So are we going to change the label and not call it his first appearance in Cameo? Absolutely not. So the point and moral of the story today, everyone, is this. Demand doesn't dictate labels whatsoever. Label is dictated by the content and the context of the book, of who's in the book, how they're in the book, and how it relates to the story and to the pages of the book. And that is how we define these labels. And it's always been that way, and it's always going to be that way. Demand does not dictate labels. Demand dictates value on the market, and that's it. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for watching today. Let me know what you guys thought in the comments below. I talked about this briefly last week in my live stream. I just had to come out here and make a video really kind of diving more into it and discussing it. I feel that this is a black and white situation, but there are many situations that I feel are black and white, and a lot of people still seem to be confused or maybe stand firm in their position. But so I welcome comments below, even if you disagree. But hey, like I said, the evidencing, it's pretty black and white. And when I talk about these things in fact, I don't talk about them as my opinion. My opinion doesn't matter here. This isn't about my opinion. It's about substantiating universal fact through concrete data and evidence. And I hope that I explain myself clear enough for everyone watching today. So again, leave some comments below. If you aren't subscribed to the channel, please take some time to do so. Check out all the awesome links, guys. See how you can help support the channel even more by joining my patreon.com page. That link is below. It's only $3.99 a month. You get a whole bunch of awesome perks, including exclusive monthly videos, patron-only contest, early access to all my speculation and investment videos. I also got my link to all of my official Journos Comics merch below, as well as a link to our comic book canon show every Friday night. And guys, I have a special Friday night live show tomorrow night, Friday, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern, that you aren't going to want to miss. We're going to be talking about some really, really serious comic book related stuff. and how it pertains to the hobby. I'm going to have special guests, Newbie Comics on, and all of his crew. So be here, guys, tomorrow, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern. Until then, guys, until next time.